Hello, this is Buff McNichol from Grace Falls Church, and I hope that you and your family are enjoying a great holiday season. You know, as we come to the end of 2016, I really have a lot of reflections as I think back to the year, and I really just search my heart and just ask the Lord, what can I say to you as we close out 2016? I want to begin with just this thought. You know, words matter. They can be the difference maker in so many different situations in life. I'm constantly reminded of this every single day as a parent. The power of my words, my tone, even my expressions speak volumes to my children. Right now, I know that they long for my words. And even when I think they aren't listening, they really are. What I say and how I say it really matters. I preach to my kids about the power of words and the need for us to use words to build up and to never use words to tear down. I share with them, and I even try to model for them the power and the influence our words really do have. I speak words of life into their hearts, and then I pray to God that those seeds that I planted with my words find good soil. And then I ask the Father to allow me, as well as others, to have opportunities to water them and nourish them so they will take root in their heart and in their lives. Because my ultimate desire is I want my kids to know and to be confident in who they are and whose they are. And I know that that all starts with my words. So as I sit and I reflect on this past year, and I ponder the fact that we're in our fourth Christmas here in New Jersey, I'm really recognizing the power of my words to you right now. I'm asking the Lord and myself, what can I say to you? You are our family and our friends that have faithfully supported us every step on this journey, and you truly are a blessing. A gift that has inspired us even in the toughest of times to press on and to not shrink back no matter what. But I deal with the tension and the noise in my head daily of trying to paint a picture for you of success and really the progress that has happened here. This causes me to ask, what are the measurements by which we consider what we've done to be successful? This is a real question, and it's one that I wrestle with constantly. It's not one that should be avoided, and to be honest, it's harder to answer than I ever realized. Let me explain. I had some projections that I had to make when I began this journey. I had to project things in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. I look back over those numbers and boy, can I tell you, I was very ambitious. I'd predicted that this year, year 3, we would have 65 people regularly attending Grace Falls Church. And we would have taken up from those 65 families, 65 people, $70,000. And that was based on some national averages, some things in my heart, and just kind of a vision of what I wanted to see take place. It looked reasonable at the time. It was very achievable based on where I was coming from. I mean, I helped start and lead adult Bible fellowship classes that in the matter of months at Idlewild, man, they had that number and even more. How hard could it really be to start a church and grow it to 65 people in 3 years? The funny part of this, I made predictions on the outcome of our work in a place, listen to this, in a place that I'd never lived. I'd only visited 3 times, and on those visits, I never stayed longer than 3 days. I laugh when I think of this right now. It wasn't like I was moving from Tampa to Orlando. I was moving to New Jersey. This reminded me of a story in the Bible. One day, Jesus was walking on the roadside with some of his followers. One of them decided to make a statement. It was only 7 words, but it was a declaration of sorts. They were similar to my words when I said in my heart, and even on paper, and to others, that I think that we'll have 65 people and we'll take up $70,000 in year 3. It didn't seem as big and as bold at the time when I said them. Probably just like this guy when he said these 7 words to Jesus. It didn't seem as big and as bold at the time, yet nonetheless, here's the truth. Words do matter. And his words at the time, they mattered. This individual said to Jesus as they walked along the roadside, you find it in Luke chapter 9, verse 57, when he simply made the statement, I will follow you wherever you go. You know, I told Jesus the same thing a long time ago. It was early on in my journey when I first trusted Christ with my life and my future. I said to him in times of prayer, I said to him in times of my worship, I said to him as I wrote in my journals, God, whatever it is you want, wherever it is you want to take me, no matter what the cost, Lord, I want you to know the answer is yes. And it was because of those declarations that I followed Jesus here to New Jersey from Tampa. It was that same spirit that others came along with us, and we left all that we knew and we were comfortable with. But having fallen short of our bold predictions and not experiencing the growth that we had hoped for, I have to ask myself an even harder question. Was it a mistake in coming here? Can I tell you the answer is emphatically no? People could say, well, then why haven't you reached the goals that you set? I mean, it's been 3 years now. What's going on? These are all valid statements. They're all valid questions, but this is the noise that I hear in my head and in my heart sometimes as I sit and wrestle with what to say to you when it comes to success and progress. And I realize that my words do matter. And I want to share with you where we are as we close out 2016. But more importantly, I want to let you know where we're going. And what I'm about to say is not a prediction like I made before we came, not knowing anything or only visiting a few times. This is coming from someone and coming from an experience of people that have had their boots on the ground and have been in the trenches grinding every single day. I want to share with you facts that I've learned. Facts, not assumptions, not guesses, but things that I've learned and I know to be true from being here and our time here in New Jersey. Discipleship is both a command and a call. He called all of us who profess his name, who decided that we wanted to put our trust in Jesus to follow him. He called all of us to go and to make disciples. The command of going, that's the easy part. The call of making disciples, that's where the real work is. Another thing that I've learned is reproduction has to come before multiplication. You cannot multiply if you don't first reproduce. And just because someone can reproduce doesn't mean they're ready for all that reproducing entails. We have to grow and mature what we produce first. Another thing that I've learned is that healthy always reproduces healthy, and unhealthy always reproduces unhealthy. It takes time, sweat, and a lot of work to plow the ground, to remove the rocks, to kill the weeds in order to plant the seed. And fruitfulness isn't seen without faithfulness. When our walking by faith intersects with God's faithfulness, that's where the growth happens. So let me close by telling you, we together can make a difference. It may not be what we thought or we hoped for or even predicted. I wish I could tell you that we didn't have 65 this year, that we had 165 in our church. I wish I could say we didn't take up $70,000 this year. We took up $170,000. It was more than we expected, so we were able to give $70,000 to other works and other ministries. The truth is, we didn't reach any of those goals. It wasn't because we didn't want it, and it wasn't because we didn't work hard. It's been harder than we ever dreamed. It's taken longer than we all wanted. And I can honestly say that no matter what, I wouldn't change a thing. We are 37 faithful, and we came here without knowing anyone. We're working hard at helping each individual that God has entrusted to our care and to our leadership to truly know what it means to follow Jesus And we're challenging them to grow and to know that the goal for them is not to sit, but to reproduce themselves. And I want them to count the cost, and I want them to know that you have to crawl before you can walk. I want them to know truth, and I want them to develop that truth into convictions that can anchor them as they seek to glorify God, to live their life on mission, and to spread the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I want you to hear this. And I want you to hear it not just with your ears, but I want you to hear it in your heart. Thank you. Thank you. Many of you have patiently and faithfully supported us in this journey. And it's making a difference. And I know that God is working, and we will eventually multiply. And we're losing a lot of support this year as people's commitments are ending. And we are so grateful to each one of you who have demonstrated your faithfulness to God along this journey. And we believe that as we continue to walk by faith, that we will intersect God's faithfulness no matter what. And that is a truth that we've seen happen over and over every step of the way. But as we close out this year, I want to ask, I want you to consider, I want you right now, would you pray and ask the Lord, is God calling you to give to the work in the ministry here as we continue to stay faithful? We definitely need it as we continue this journey. We want you to consider maybe a year-end gift. Maybe you've been blessed this year and you want to be a blessing. I promise you that if you invest here, we will be faithful stewards of that God entrusts to us, and we will use it to further the gospel and the kingdom here. Maybe God would lay on your heart to make a monthly commitment to say, hey, I want to invest in you guys this next year every month. Well, if you would want to do that, I would challenge you, go to our website, gracefallsac.org. You can click there, you can give. If you want to mail it, you can mail it to us, 308 North Shore Road, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201. And you can send that to us and make all your checks payable to Grace Falls Church. But we want you to know that whatever it is that you can do or that you have done, every gift has made a difference, and it does make a difference. So thank you for all you've done and the ways that you've supported us. Your prayers, your gifts, the blessing that many of you have been because you've been able to come here and to see what God is doing. As we reflect on this year, may we all see and know, no matter what or where God has called us to go, God has a purpose in everything. And as we anticipate the new year, may we be reminded of the truth that I began with, that words do matter. So as we think about this year, would you find comfort? And would I find comfort in these words, not mine, but His, that says, remember, don't forget that I am with you always, even to the end of the age. God bless.